All right, today we are going to break down the secret blueprint for one of the most important documents out there, the scientific paper. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever picked one up, started reading, and just felt completely lost? Like you're trying to decipher some kind of ancient secret code? Yeah, you are definitely not alone.
But here's the thing. That rigid structure isn't there to confuse you. It's actually there to make things super clear. It's a system, a pattern. And once you see that pattern, everything just clicks.
And the best way to picture that pattern is with this shape, an hourglass. A scientific paper starts out broad, then narrows down to a really specific point, and then broadens back out again at the end. Seriously, keep this image in your head. It's the key to understanding everything we're about to talk about.
So let's start with a big picture. Why does this super rigid blueprint even exist in the first place?
Well, it's all about creating a global language for science. A researcher in Tokyo has to be able to understand and even perfectly replicate an experiment done by a team in Buenos Aires. This universal format makes that possible. It's what allows science to be this massive collaborative effort. You could even say it's the engine of human progress. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. At the very heart of our hourglass is a simple four-part structure, and it has a catchy little acronym, IMRAD.
IMRAD. It stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. These four sections are the absolute backbone of pretty much every scientific paper you're ever going to read. This is the narrowest part of our hourglass, the core of the actual experiment.
First up, the introduction. This is the top part of the hourglass. It starts broad by telling you what we already know about a topic, then it narrows down to a specific gap in our knowledge, and it ends by telling you the exact question this paper is going to answer.
Next up, methods. If the introduction was the why, the method section is the how. Think of it like a super detailed recipe. It has to be so precise that another scientist anywhere in the world could follow it and get the exact same result. This is absolutely crucial for science to be trustworthy.
Then we get to the results, and this is where the rubber meets the road. This section is just the facts. It's where the authors present their data, often in graphs and tables, and just state what they found. There's no opinion, no spin, no interpretation here. It's just, we did this, and this happened. Here's the data. And finally, we get to the discussion. This is where we flip the hourglass over and start to broaden back out. The authors take their very specific results and explain what it all means. This is the so what section. How do these findings change what we thought we knew? And what should we study next? Now, a huge part of that results section is about showing your data, not just telling people about it. Because, a single great graph can be way more powerful than a whole paragraph of text. Let's start with the classic bar graph. This is perfect when you want to compare an average value across a few different groups. Say, comparing the height of plants grown with different fertilizers. Simple, clear, and gets right to the point. A histogram looks a little similar, but it does something different. Instead of just showing you an average, it shows you the distribution of your data, so you can see the whole spread. For example, how test scores are spread out across an entire class. Now, what if you want to see if two different things are related to each other? Well, that's when you bust out the scatter plot. Each little dot represents two measurements, like a person's height and their weight. You can see just by looking if there's a trend or a connection between them. And finally, we've got the line graph. This is your go-to for tracking how something changes over a continuous scale, usually time. Think about tracking the growth of a bacterial population over 48 hours. The line immediately shows you the trend.
You see, a scientific paper never exists in a vacuum. It's not a monologue. It's one voice joining a massive, ongoing, global conversation that's been happening for centuries. Okay, a sentence like this might look like alphabet soup, right? But it's actually an incredibly efficient way of showing your receipts. It says, here's what we found, and then here's the hard statistical proof that this is a real, significant finding and not just a fluke. Every claim is backed by evidence. And before any paper even gets published, it has to survive a process called peer review. This is where anonymous experts in the same field act as gatekeepers. They pick apart everything, the methods, the results, the logic. It's tough, but it's the quality control that keeps science honest. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the unique writing style. It's a little different, and it's all about precision, clarity, and objectivity. Just look at this title comparison. A title like Mouse Behavior. I mean, come on, that's useless.
But estrogen stimulates intensity of nose-twitch courtship behavior in mice. Now that tells you exactly what the paper is about. The hormone, the behavior, the animal, it's packed with keywords.
And that same idea applies to the entire paper. Check out this before and after. The first example is so wordy and rambling. The improved version? Bam! It says the exact same thing in one clear, crisp sentence. The goal is to be economical with your words, but generous with your information. So a few quick rules of thumb. Since the work is already done, you always write in the past tense. We measured, the bacteria grew. It's also formal, so you avoid contractions like don't or can't. And above all, the goal is always to be clear, concise, and objective.
So there you have it. The scientific paper isn't some secret code. It's a highly refined tool for sharing knowledge, a story told in the beautiful shape of an hourglass. Every single one adds another tiny piece to this giant puzzle of human knowledge. The only question is, what piece will you discover?